got married, and then they enjoyed for a long time, and then they procreated 9 daughters, and all those 9 daughters were after 9 daughters. He said after the child is born, he wanted to. Then Devavati comes back and says, these are all daughters, and when they go to their own respective home, what can I do? If I have some distress, you are there to solace me. But once my daughters, this is actually the Vedic culture. Now the things are changing, but in Vedic culture, daughter is married and given away, and then the parents, have to be with the parents will have to give them away. So then Devudi says, okay, my daughter is gone, then you're also going. Then how can I be, if there is any distress, to whom I could go like that? Then Kardama says that what Lord has promised me one thing, that He will come as a as a son to us. So you don't worry, and like that. And then our Supreme Lord comes in Devudi's womb as Kapila Muni, right? And then he appears, and when he's appearing, Lord appears, and the whole universe is overjoyed. Like the demigods in the heavenly planets, they're all jumping, and they're all very happy. And the demigods going in the airplanes are all showering the flowers, and then everyone is in a very happy mood. Gandharvas are singing, Apsaras are dancing. It's a very jubilant moment because Lord is appearing, and when Lord appears, always good auspicious thing happens, right? So everyone is happy. And at that point, as demigods, as he said, one of them is topmost is our Brahma, right? We are in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Brahma is a very important personality. He actually, is the secondary creator. He comes and then he actually, congratulates both the Kardama and the Devahuti. And to Kardama, he is saying that, you are the best son. Because when Brahma asked initial sons like 4 Kumaras and Narada to procreate, they said, no, we don't want you to procreate, we don't want to get entangled, and we don't just want to be brahmacharis. But he was very upset with that, right? But Kardama Muni really followed his father's instruction, and he started procreation. So Brahma is very happy, and he said, you are the best son, you are the nice, you are following all my instructions. And to Devahuti, he was saying that, you got the Lord as your son, and because of that your fame will be spread all over the world. Like that, he was praising both Kardama and Devahuti. So this is still the previous verse, and this verse, since he came and he glorified both of them, congratulated and spoke nicely to them, he is actually going back. So while going back, actually when he came, he didn't come alone. He came with all the rishis, right? Atri, Angira, Pulasa, all those rishis came, and then also Sanat Kumara and Narada, all of the rishis, all of the sages came. And in the conversation between Kardama and Devahuti, he congratulated them, and also he suggested one more thing. Kardama, you have 9 daughters, beautiful daughters. Now they are to be married. So why don't you marry them to these sages? He suggested to the couple, and then Kardama agreed. So since those sages are to be married to the 9 daughters, whom are all to be married, they stayed back in the earth, and the rest, Sanat Kumara, all the 4 Kumaras and Narada went back with the Brahma. So this verse talks about Brahma going back, and Kumaras and Narada also going, but the other sages stay back and get married. So this is the background of this overall pastime till this time. So in this verse, in the purport, Prabhupada very nicely points out at least 3 nice points. I just thought to take it and then maybe a little bit elaborate on that. So Prabhupada was saying that he was saying Lord Brahma as Hamsa, because he can grasp the essence of everything. So what is Hamsa? Hamsa is swan. So what is the quality of a swan? When you give a swan water and a milk, the swan will take only the milk and leave the water back. That means it is grasping the essence. In the same way, our Brahma is also, he's what to say, we say Saragragi, can say Saragragi Vaishnava means he takes the essence of it. He doesn't see the externalities, but he takes the essence of it. So this way, Brahma is called Hamsa. And also, many times we have come across this word Hamsa. For example, Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa, Parivrajaka Ashtotra Sadarshi Shri, Divine Grace, AC Bhaktivedanta. So what is that Hamsa comes there, That is how Hamsa comes, right? So if you see there, Hamsa also, Paramahamsa refers to also, liberated sannyasi, right? One who takes to the renunciation order actually goes through four stages. One is called Kutichaka, that means a person has started to become a renunciate, right? Till now he is a grihastha in a family. When he starts to become a sannyasi, immediately he cannot just go and be on own. In the Vedic system, everything is very gradual and everything is being guided nicely. Okay, so what happens in the first Kutichaka stage, a sannyasi just stays outside his house, not outside the house, outside the village in a small hermitage. And the food is provided by the house. So still he is being supported by the house, but still he has started the sannyasi stage. That is called Kutichaka. And then comes Bahudaka. Bahudaka means Bahusaka Ananya, right? There is some when the verse where he says, the intelligence of one who is multifarious is not, is not going to help him. The intelligence should be focused, right? And so it's called Bahu. So it means Bahu means multi. That means in Bahudaka stage, the same sannyasi not going to get food from his house anymore, but he goes to all the different houses. That's why many houses, Bahudaka. And how he gets that food, it's like called Madhukari. Madhukari means, what you mean by that is called bumblebee, right? Madhu, it takes the honey from each flower, small honey in each flower, right? In the same way, a Bahudaka sannyasi goes to small portions he gets from each house. He won't get the whole food from one house. That's not allowed. He has to go in each house and take it. So this is called Bahudaka. And once he goes to that stage, now that what? He doesn't depend on his home. He's a little bit comfortable to get his food by himself. Then goes to the next stage called Parivrajaka. In the Parivrajaka stage, he goes to all the places and he goes and preaches the glories of the Lord. Right? So this is the third stage. And fourth is called Paramahamsa. In Paramahamsa stage, all these activities are stopped. He just stays at one final place and he does full bhajan. It's called Akhanda bhajan. Maybe I'm not saying it properly. So he does the full bhajan. His focus is only on bhajan. He doesn't worry about anything else. Preaching is all done. If you want to do preaching, actually you have to come to Parivajaka stage and have to go for it. Once it's all done, in Paramahamsa stage, he's just focusing on bhajan. So why it's called Paramahamsa? My understanding is that in material world we have both matter and spirit, right? In earth we have both material thing and spiritual things are there, but Paramahamsa just takes only the spiritual. His focus is only on spirit. He doesn't care about the material anymore. So that's why he's called Paramahamsa. His focus is on like only the spiritual matters and elevation in his consciousness. So this way, the word Hamsa has a lot of significance in many places actually we have seen. So that's why when Prabhupada says Brahma is Hamsa, so that makes a lot of sense. And also Prabhupada says the Brahma's abode in the purport as Tridama Paramam. Right? So if you see the Vedic planetarium, in our material planets, right, there are actually, it's called, we can say there are Triloke, they say, upper planetary system, middle planetary system, and also lower planetary system. Sometimes we have been said as 14 planetary systems, and sometimes that is called as 3 planetary systems. So when I was confused initially, but once we little bit, get into the purports, that 14 planetary systems are divided into 3. Right, first 7 is actually upper, then in the 8th one is maybe 7 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, first 6 actually is upper, and the 7th one is the earth is the middle, and the lower 7 is the bottom. So the upper 7 are starts from Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Swargaloka, Bhuvarloka, and our Lord Brahma's abode is in the Satyaloka, right, top planetary system. Okay, and ours is the Bhurloka. Bhurloka means the earth planet, which is the middle planet, and the lower planetary system is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. In India, at least we know what is, many places they say Patala. So I didn't know at that time. So now let us. So a little bit of what, some little bit details of the Patala is the last one, lowest one. It's Pitraloka and hellish planets, and then Loka is Earth planet, and one planet ahead of is called Loka, which is in the higher planetary system. It has Rakshasas and ghosts, and then comes Loka on top, which is Loka, heavenly planets, where a lot of demigods all live. And if you go up, Satyaloka is Brahma's abode. So that's what it says. Three Dhamma Paramam. Paramam means what? Topmost, right? Three Dhamma. So Brahma's abode is the topmost of the three Dhamma. So that's why he was actually glorified as three Dhamma Paramam. His abode is the highest. Okay, we know all these three planetary systems, but who goes where? And how does one goes and settles in the planetary systems, right? Sometimes you might get a question, right? So for that, Prabhupada many times in his purports, in his classes, he gives this verse. Uddam kachanti satvasta madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaganya gunavrittista adogachanti tamasaha. Bhagavad Gita 14:18. So what it says, those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upwards to the higher planets. So if you are goodness, you go upwards to higher planets. Those in the mode of passion, we stay in this earthly planet. And those who are abominable of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Right? So this way, as we discussed in previous classes also, when we are born, we have a certain combination of modes we are being given. That modes how we get is from our previous birth's activities. Right? Whatever activities are done in previous birth, and based on that, the mode combination is given. It's kind of like an RGB, if you heard in physics. Red, green, blue, you combine it, you make one color, right? So that based on that red, green, blue, these three things are goodness, passion, ignorance, right? So if in previous life, if you are too much endeavoring to get into the top of the CEO level in a company and all of this, then you passed away, right? Then you get more passion. And when you start this life, immediately you will have a passion to move forward. That's why if you see some kids, I've seen, they play music so nicely, they do harmonium so nicely, and some people, even Western people, they play piano, like 2-3-year-old people will play piano so nicely. How it is possible? It's all continuation from their previous life. So this way, the modes what we acquire decide where we go. In this life, if you do good, now you're Earth planet. If you do pious things, then you go higher and higher up. Okay? And in this life, if you do abominable things and if you really put yourself in lower thing, then you go lower and lower. Okay. Then someone can ask, what is the problem? I don't mind. I want to be in Earth. I want to be in upper planet. I can go in lower planet. I don't mind, they might say. But what is the problem? Someone can say, see, I can go to Swargaloka. Swargaloka is an upper planet, right? Indra is there, Swargaloka. And I can go to, Brahmaloka. There in the higher planet, it has a lot of facilities. Upper planet, you go, there is a lot of facilities for sense gratification, sense enjoyment. When you go to lower planets, it's too much scorching, right? Too much difficulty. Some people can say, no, I don't mind. I want to enjoy, so I want to go to higher planets, I am fine. But Bhagavad Gita, what it says is that, Brahma Bhuvana Loka, Punaravartano Arjuna. Then, Mam Upetitu Kaunteya, Punarjanma na Vidyate. It says, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all places are misery, wherein repeated birth, death, old age, disease takes place. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So the problem is that you can go to all, but still you will be in the same cycle of birth, death. That means what? In this birth, you are in higher planet. After next birth, you don't know where you'll be, because it all depends on that birth's activity. Then that birth, if you're not doing well, you might come down to the highest Patal planet, right? So that's why it's not really a good idea to be in this cycle and also either to go up and down. So then what is the, so we know that this is not a good place. So then the next question comes is, okay, this is not a good place. Then what is a good place then, right? So we know that the best place to be is in the abode of the Lord. It's in the spiritual world, right? So basically, the overall creation, 3 quarters is spiritual world. This material world is just 1 quarter. This 1 quarter itself is so big, so big, so big, so big, you cannot imagine. The Hubble telescope can't even reach what is what the periphery of whatever, even the inner periphery, maybe we can say. So it is so big actually, millions and billions of galaxies. Within that, each galaxy is millions and billions of stars. Within each star is millions and billions of planets. Within each planet is how many living entities, right? And we are just one of them. So how insignificant we are, right? So it's not a wise decision to just be in this material world. So the way to get out of this material world is that Bhagavad Gita says, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati sa mad bhavam yati nasti atra samsaya, right? And whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So in order to get out, for example, if you want to go to from here, if you want to go to India, right? If you're an American citizen, then what do? You need to get an Indian visa, right? You cannot go just like that. At the border, they will be asking for the visa and all those immigration will happen, right? The same way, if you want to go to the spiritual world, you cannot just go like that. You need to have a proper qualification. You need to have a proper body. So for that only, Bhagavad Gita says that at the time of death, you need to remember Krishna, right? As an iron, put it into the fire, what happens? After some time, the iron becomes fire. There is no differentiation between fire and iron. In the same way, when your consciousness is fully thinking about Krishna, then you are Krishnized. And at the end, Prabhupada says, for a devotee, death is like you just close your eyes and you open, and then you are in spiritual world. Right? That's what it's suggesting. And in this, for this verse, very nice purport is given by Prabhupada. I just wanted to read it because this Prabhupada words I cannot just paraphrase. It's so good. So the purport for this Antakalecha is, in this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental abode of the Supreme Lord. The word smaran, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. So it is like, for example, you are preparing for an exam, right? So what you do, you have to prepare regularly whenever they have an assignment, right? You have to do it. Or even for learning the musical instruments, they give assignments every week, right? If you don't do it, and when the master asks you to play, then our hand goes here and there, one beat comes, another beat is wrong, right? So the same way, if you have to be Krishna conscious, right? You have to be fully Krishna conscious. You need to be doing things every day. It has to be consistent, right? It has to be ingrained in you. Then at the end of this life, when you quit, what happened? What you remember at the end of the life? When they say that the death is like 10,000 scorpions biting at the same time, right? When you are in so much pain, what you really will remember, the most attached thing, whatever is most attached, you will remember. Am I right? Right? Many people will remember their family members. They will remember the bank balance, or they will think, oh, I need to finish this project in my company, I didn't finish, right? So all these things. But one who is a devotee, who dovetails everything in Krishna's pleasure, and he does everything for Krishna, then he always remembers Krishna, right? Then he can remember Krishna at the end of their life. So let's continue this. This purport is so good, I don't want to stop. Okay, so remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. To remember Krishna, one should chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, incessantly. This is a very important point. Following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya, how? Being more tolerant than the tree, humbler than the grass, and offering all respects to others without requiring respect in return. In such a way, one will be able to depart from the body, successfully remembering Krishna, and so attain the supreme goal. So Prabhupada was emphasizing about our incessant. There are two words I really liked in this, and I think it's important. One is incessant. That point, what is incessant? Satatham, right? Continuously. So there is a verse in Gita which says, right? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam enamam upayantite. So what Krishna says, to those who are constantly devoted. So that word is important. So that's why Prabhupada says incessantly. So what is the difference between incessant and non-incessant? In current stage, what I do is not incessant. I come in the morning, maybe do some time japa, then I go. I forget about Krishna most of the time, and I look after my son sometimes, and then my family, and then my work. And I don't know, many times I try that. I even have my picture of Krishna in front, but most of the time I forget. We are doing it for Krishna. So that means I am really not in incessant stage. But if you see Paramahamsas, right, as I said in the first, Paramahamsas, they are incessant. For them, their only focus is on Krishna. They have left everything aside, right? But that doesn't mean a Grihastha cannot be a incessant devotee. For example, let's say Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He's what? He's a high court judge, right? His schedule, if you see, you will faint actually. He kind of, he has a morning session at 10 to 12, and then he comes back, takes rest half an hour, and then from 2 to 4, he has some thing, and then comes back, takes a few chapatis, and then he sits to read or something, and then again he takes some break for a bhajan or something, and then again he sits from 9 till 4 he writes. Can you believe? And then he takes half an hour rest, and then he just drinks some buttermilk or something, and then again he starts his morning duties again. So it is like only he's just slept 2 hours maybe, So they are all like, that is what called incessant, because his all activities are for Krishna's pleasure. It's not, like me doing one thing here. Maybe for this class I prepared few things that maybe a little bit intensity, but other than that, not. So that's what incessant is important here. And another little bit technical point in this incessant is, there is a verse called Mam Avyabhicharana Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samatittayaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So in this way, what is the translation is that one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances. So this is also Satatam, right? Only when he is unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, So only when a person is fully, incessantly, doing the Krishna consciousness, he only can transcend the modes. So why this is important? Because the whole point in going up and down is what? Modes, right? We need to at least come to goodness and then go to sattva, visit the sattva, right? This way, when you are actually, incessantly then doing Krishna consciousness, that means at that point you are overcoming the modes, and then you are able to progress further. Okay, so this way now we saw what is the planetary system and why we go up and down and how to go out, right? We now all know the answer, right? But we don't go right? So what's the problem? Right. So we know all the answer. Every day we sometimes we read Bhagavad Gita, and yesterday Prabhuji was also reading the 14th chapter of Gita, same modes. But we don't go, and we are being, something is pulling us and we stay here, right? What's the problem, right? So the problem is the Maithuna Saga, the sex life, The whole problem is this material world is the focal point, is man and woman, those sex desires is the focal problem which keeps a jiva in this material world. If that is not there, he is almost liberated kind of. So how this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 5:5-8, it says, Pumsha striya maitri bhavam etam tayor mita hritaya grantim ahuhu ato graha kshetra sutapta vittaya janasya moha ayam aham mameti. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:5-8 says, the attraction between male and female is a basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. So it's a big, long purport. But the point is that the sex life is the one which is binding. So, is the sex life bad? Then how will children come? So sex life is not bad. The sex life which is contrary to the religious principle is what is being condemned. So we need a proper way to indulge and create a very favorable progeny which will develop or not develop, which will propagate this mission. So we need proper progeny. For that we need sex life, but it has to be done according to the scriptures, not for sense gratification. So the moment when we are indulging in the sense gratification, then actually it binds us to this material world. So that is the anchor. Like a ship is there in one place. How they do? They put an anchor, right? So the same way, the anchor in this material world is this sex desire. So there is one word in this purport where Prabhupada says Naishtiki Brahmachari, right? So what does it mean? It's all because it's related to this point. So the Prabhupada says the 4 Kumaras and also our Narada are Naishtiki Brahmacharis. So that means Naishtiki Brahmachari means they never married and they never wasted their semen. So why is there so importance about this brahmacharya? Why is importance about this sex life, all those things? That is because in order to have a fertile brain, you need not waste this very, very, very precious thing in your body. Well, it is not known. This is the greatest fallacy of this current yuga. Or this people and those doesn't know about these points, and they take everything ulta to be the best. Ulta, what to say? Other than opposite, they take the opposite to be the best. They think to be indulgent, to be promiscuous is the greatest happiness. Yeah, maybe for some time, but then your brain will be busted out. You cannot think straight, and you get into all problems. You get into all diseases, right? HIV is for promiscuity, right? Right. So the problem is that in order to be in spiritual life, one has to grow. One of the very vital point is that to be controlled in that desire. So how to be controlled? So if you see some example of in our I can say Naradas, Sant Kumara, 4 Kumara, they're all rishis, they're all big people. They can do. How can we do? We'll think, right? If you see even the example what I go in also see a very higher personality. Our Prabhupada's guru, who is that? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, right? He is actually a Naishtiki Brahmachari, right? When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he was studying in his college, he created a club called Celibate Club. And whoever joined that club, they have to take a vow that they will be celibate for the whole life, right? So at the end of some time, the only person remained in that club? Any guess? Yes. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the only person remained in the club, and others couldn't. They have to, they got married or something like that. So, and also if you see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how he's called Simha Guru, the words he speaks something, it goes straight into your heart, and he doesn't care about anyone. He doesn't, some Mayavadi comes, he directly goes opposite. If he might go that way, he'll go this way. He will jump that side, go there, and he will actually fight. Why are you disturbing the people? Why are you, distracting them from Krishna? Why are you saying that there is no Krishna and you are Krishna? Can you lift it? Go then he will actually have a fight, and Mayavadis, they see him, they will run away. That's what reality, So, is that how does the power come? The power comes from this, celibacy. And also there is one word in Bhagavatam called Urdhavaretasara. Urdhavaretasara means one who raises his semen, normally flows downward for normal people, it goes upward for someone who is celibate. Then it nourishes his brain, so he can remember photographically. Like in previous ages, there is no writing the books. Why? People are so much celibate. A guru says, this guy will just hear and he will able to repeat it to the people. He will not forget even a single line. That's why there are no books. The books came only even Kali Yuga. Vyasadeva has to write everything or what? Because these people are not, bride is not fertile, right? So that's why we have all these, things. And I think it's almost time. So anyway, but one more thing, celibacy alone is not Krishna consciousness. Celibacy is actually a byproduct of Krishna consciousness. If you see Mayavadis, they are even more stricter than us in terms of rules and regulations. Very, very strict Mayavadis are. For them, if you wanted to get into their thing, you will take sannyas. You cannot be a grihastha and become a Mayavad. You have to be sannyas. That means their level is so strict in that. But strictness alone is, the celibacy alone is not Krishna conscious. If you are Krishna conscious, your byproduct is celibacy. You don't need to separately endeavor for it. Okay. So we saw that there is a problem, right? And the problem is the thing. So finally we'll end it with the solution. So what is the real solution for this? The solution for this problem is, Bhagavad Gita 2:9 says, Vinaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasovarcha rasoapyaksya param drishtva nivartate. Right? So the verse says, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So the solution for this sex problem, which is binding us with the material world, is to get a higher taste. So how does higher taste come? Same satatam. You continuously do Krishna consciousness over time, you get a taste. Because bhakti has different stages, right? Adho sadhu shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, then ruchi, anantanirti, then comes ruchi, asakti, like that, right? So how we progress, ruchi is taste, right? So this higher taste comes when you do our bhakti yoga consistently, then over time you get a taste. Then it's how it is, for example, it's like a beggar who is always eating chapatis. If someone comes and gives a gulab jamun, right, will you go back to chapati? He will not go, right? Even in our play, in our menu, right? If we have a naan and paneer, right, people taking the other item will be less, right? In the same way, if we have a higher taste, then we'll automatically leave the lower taste. So for that, I'll end with this. One small thing from Yamunacharya says that since I have been engaged, Yamunacharya is the Acharya in Sri Sampradaya in South. He says, since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought and my lips curl with distaste. Since he has a higher taste, now his lips curl with distaste. So this is how you can overcome this and you can, get out of this cycle of birth and death. And one final thing is that, so we know all these things, like this Prabhupada maybe was saying to his disciples. At one point he said, okay, if you're 90% Krishna conscious, you can go back to spiritual world. Then everyone was seeing each other, 90%. Then this Prabhupada saw that, everyone is so morose. He said, okay, 80%, you'll go to Krishna. Then again everyone is saying 80%. 70%, he said. Maybe I'm a little bit paraphrasing the percentage. The point is that he was bringing it down. Then he says 50%. Then still they're thinking, Prabhupada. Then he says, you don't worry. You chant Hare Krishna, follow regular principles. I open a back door for you. So with that, you don't need to feel if you're, our levels are always like that, we may not be in that level. You might be in some other different gradation, but you don't have to be discouraged by that. We just need to do our part and Prabhupada will open the back door for us. Okay? Thank you so much for the opportunity. Sorry, a little bit, 3 minutes exceeded. If you have any questions, comments, chastisement. Yes, bro.
Observation kind of thing. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I remember hearing something like, it was a saying from Buddha and Buddha's incarnation of Krishna, where like, the mistake is thinking you have tomorrow, something like along those lines. Like,
I didn't get the point. He has a tomorrow?
It's a saying from Buddha. So something along the lines of, the mistake is thinking you have a tomorrow.
Okay.
Like, you could be dead tomorrow. So I was just thinking with this observation, like, back in Prabhupada days when they did like kirtan and RT, they're jumping in the air, screaming, going crazy. And nowadays you see people that kind of maybe opening their mouth a little bit, but maybe not dancing anything. So maybe they're taking it for granted how important this is. And, just wondering if there's something, similar, and in ISKCON it has, it gives that same example. And, we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. So let's take this a little more serious or something along those lines.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, actually, that's nice point. One point is, we take it for granted, yeah. Because holy name is, we see everyone chanting Hare Krishna, everyone says Hare Krishna, then take it holy name cheap. Like water, right? Water is there everywhere. We take it cheap. Okay, one glass if I throw, no problem. It's the same thing. It is oil or something or a gasoline or something. They will keep it in a price preciously, right? So that is the mentality of people, because we take anything given cheaper, then it's just no value. They put it. Even like if you see Prabhupada books, if you distribute it free, that book might not end up properly actually. At least that's why we get at least $1 or something. Then the person, oh, I paid $1, I need to keep it safely. So yeah, nice point, Prabhu. Thank you. Sure.
This is actually something that a technical question that
Okay.
I've always kind of wondered about. We are on planet Earth, the middle planet,
Correct.
and above us is the planet of the ghosts and the Rakshasas.
Yeah.
So it always feels like we consider ourselves better. We don't want to become a ghost,
Correct.
become a demon, or
Correct.
so how to understand being lower than that planet, but not wanting to feeling like that's a lower position than human.
Yeah, actually, that's technical. Yeah. I need to check and let you know, Mataji, but I'm not sure why Rakshasas and things are in the upper planet. I saw that it was there, but I don't know the correct answer for that. But one point is that they're all handled by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is, his dham is above our, like he's still material world, but his dham is little above. So my understanding